Caitlin
the
Clark is
WNBA
driving
just
the
lost
WNBA
everything,
insane.
and they
It's
did
to
it
the
to
point
themselves.
that she may
Caitlin
need to
Clark,
step away
the
from the
woman who
WNBA,
handed them a
have a
$2.2
billionaire
billion
come in that has the money to
media
prove a
deal on a
point
silver
and say,
platter,
Caitlin,
might
I'll
be
pay you
gone.
$50 million
Europe,
just
done.
to see if the
Finished with
WNBA can
American
make it
women's
without
basketball.
you. Let's go create a complete
And the
different league
players who
and
spent
expose
2
the hell
entire
out of the
seasons
WNBA
treating
just to
her like
embarrass
public
this
enemy
Angel
number
Reese
one.
girl that Jamil
They're
Hill
the
just
ones
said
pointing
she could go
fingers.
down as a
They're
Michael
blaming
Jordan
her
of
for the
WNBA.
CBA
And
collapse. The audacity is genuinely insane. If she walks, the league dies. Not slowly, not gradually, immediately. And every single person who resented her success is about to learn the most expensive lesson in professional sports history. This isn't speculation anymore. This is panic mode, and it's absolutely deserved. Here's what nobody wants to admit. The WNBA never prepared for this scenario because they never thought it was possible. They never imagined their golden goose would actually consider leaving. Why would she? This is America. This is the Premier League.
Or the league
Except
that enabled
it's
it.
Not when
There,
you treat your
so the
biggest star like
WNBA
garbage
is
for
taking
24 months
to social
straight.
media, taking to the
Caitlin
public.
Clark
And I want to share
brought
with you
the
guys the
WNBA
most
more
recent
mainstream
letter
attention
that was
in one
issued from the
season than the entire
WNBPA. At midnight, the 2020
league in the
WNBA,
previous decade
WNBPA
combined.
collective bargaining
That's not
agreement will
opinion.
expire.
That's
Despite
measurable
demonstrating our
fact.
willingness to
Her
compromise
games
in order to get a deal done, the
consistently drew
WNBA
millions
and
of
its teams
viewers.
have failed to meet
Arenas
us
sold
at
out
the table with the
everywhere
same
Indiana
spirit and
played.
seriousness.
Her
Instead,
jersey
they've remained
became the
committed to
best-selling
undervaluing
item
player
in league
contributions,
history.
dismissing player concerns,
TV
and running out the
networks
clock.
didn't pay
Today's display of an
$2.2 billion
inflatable wrap,
because
the
they
universal
loved
symbol
women's
of labor
basketball.
protest
They
outside
paid
of
it
the
because
NBA store,
casual
calls
sports
attention to
fans
how
were
the
finally
league and its
watching,
teams have
and they
handled
were
these
watching for
negotiations.
one
By delaying
person.
and clinging to the status
Every
quo, they are
financial
jeopardizing the
improvement
livelihoods
the
of
league
players and the
experienced
trust and
traces
investment of
directly
fans,
back to her
all in the name of
impact.
preserving
Every
regressive
sponsor deal, every media contract, every uptick in merchandise sales. Remove her from the equation and watch how fast those numbers crater. But here's where it gets wild. The established players responded to this success with hostility, jealousy, and physical play that crossed every line imaginable. Flagrant fouls that referees somehow missed, veterans complaining about preferential treatment while simultaneously whining that Clark made too much money from endorsements. The cognitive dissonance was Olympic level. They wanted the financial benefits her popularity created while openly resenting her for being the reason those benefits existed. Make it make sense. I'll wait. Now, CBA negotiations have completely imploded. The deadline passed, no agreement. Players are holding out for demands that might be unrealistic given market conditions. The union is blaming owners for undervaluing contributions. Free agency is frozen because nobody knows what salary cap structure will exist. Total chaos.
I feel like the
League
players have
paralysis.
lost sense of
And
reality
somehow,
a little
Caitlin
bit.
Clark
Because
is
imagine
being
putting up a
positioned
rat
as the
that a
scapegoat.
lot of
She hasn't
unions
made
do
public
when it comes
demands.
to like
She hasn't threatened to
schools,
sit out.
construction
She stayed
companies,
professional while everything around
people
her
that are
burned.
making a lot
But
less
when you need
than
a
the kind
villain
of money
to
that the
distract from
WNBA players are
organizational
making.
incompetence,
They got offered a
facts
max
don't
salary
matter.
of over $1 million.
So Clark
Their
gets
max
blamed
salary
for labor
last year was
negotiations she's barely involved
$250,000,
in,
and now
while
it's over $1
union
million.
leadership with
And then on
obvious
top of
conflicts
that,
interest
the average
escapes
salary is around
scrutiny
$500,000. And then you're
Let's talk
putting a
about
rat
Europe.
out in public display.
European
I don't know. I
basketball
feel like
leagues
you've
have
lost
been
sense of reality a little bit.
aggressively
That's not the real
courting
world.
WNBA
The
stars for
real
years.
world does not
The
want to
money is
hear
often
constantly
better,
about
sometimes
millionaires' problems.
significantly
Let's
better.
establish.
Housing provided, transportation covered, benefits that make overseas contracts more lucrative than American deals even before you factor in the lower cost of living in many European cities. The lifestyle is more comfortable without the insane media scrutiny that comes with playing in the States, and the basketball is competitive enough to stay sharp. For someone like Caitlin Clark, Europe solves every problem simultaneously. She escapes an environment where veteran players clearly despise her presence. She avoids the uncertainty created by CBA negotiations that could drag on for months or years. She makes comparable or better money without dealing with the hostile treatment she experienced in Indiana. And she still gets to play high-level basketball while her brand continues exploding globally through endorsement deals that dwarf any WNBA salary. The panic this possibility creates among league leadership is visceral. They finally understand what happens if Clark leaves. Television ratings drop immediately back to pre-Clark obscurity. Casual fans who came specifically to watch her lose interest overnight and stop paying attention. Sponsorship deals signed based on projected growth get renegotiated or straight up canceled. The entire financial structure built on assumptions about sustained popularity collapses like a house of cards. Clark leaving would expose how fragile the WNBA's recent success actually was. It wasn't organic growth built on collective effort or smart marketing. It was one player capturing mainstream imagination in ways nobody else had managed. Remove that player and you're left with a league most casual sports fans still don't care about. That's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. This wasn't complicated enough. Support the person driving your success. Don't let jealous veterans create hostile working conditions. Address flagrant fouls appropriately instead of letting physicality spiral completely out of control.
You're too big of a star.
Basic organizational competence. None of this required genius-level strategy. It just required not being actively self-destructive. Instead, we got 2 full seasons of Clark being treated poorly, while league leadership did absolutely nothing meaningful to address it. Commissioner Kathy Engelberg made vague statements about physicality being part of the game. Referees allowed contact that would have drawn suspensions in literally any other context. Media members downplayed her impact while elevating players who couldn't draw anywhere near the same audience. The message was clear-cut. We'll take your popularity, but we won't actually respect or protect you. Now that negligence might cost them everything. If Clark decides Europe makes more sense, she's not coming back. Once you leave, momentum shifts and opportunities emerge elsewhere. She's got global appeal that transcends the WNBA. She doesn't need American women's basketball the way it needs her. That power dynamic should have been obvious from day one, but jealousy and short-term thinking prevented people from seeing it clearly. The owners seem to understand this better than the players do. They're pushing teams to proceed with free agency preparations despite CBA uncertainty. That suggests they believe a deal will eventually materialize, and they're not willing to let union leverage paralyze league operations indefinitely. The status quo period allows them to send qualifying offers under expired CBA terms while negotiations continue. That legal framework gives ownership way more flexibility than players seem to realize. Here's where the leverage evaporates. Players thought they had bargaining power because of increased revenue and attention, but that leverage only exists if the source of that attention stays involved. If Clark walks, their negotiating position disappears instantly, completely. Owners can point to cratering viewership and declining sponsor interest as justification for not meeting union demands. The entire dynamic shifts from pay us what we're worth based on recent growth to we'll be lucky if this league survives without its biggest draw. Union leadership created additional problems through spectacularly obvious conflicts of interest. Nafisa Collier, as vice president, runs Unrivaled, a competing basketball league that directly benefits when the WNBA struggles. Her credibility during negotiations is compromised by those business interests.
Said no thank you to the NBA offering her a chance to participate in their three-point shooting contest. Now think how amazing that is.
Now,
if I'd have said to you a couple years ago, the NBA, to save their All-Star weekend, they're going to ask a WNBA player to join the three-point shooting contest to save it.
Nobody. Kelsey Mitchell's free agency situation represents everything broken about this process. She's one of the league's best players and was crucial to Indiana's success alongside Clark. Her future should be straightforward to resolve. Instead, it's caught up in broader negotiations that have nothing to do with her individual value. That uncertainty affects her career planning and the Fever's ability to build on what they accomplished. All because league-wide talks broke down over issues that could have been resolved months ago with competent leadership. the Fever built something genuinely special. Clark, Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, Kelsey Smith, the chemistry and talent on that roster created basketball fans actually wanted to watch. They made playoffs. They showed they could compete when everything clicked. That momentum should carry into next season with the team adding pieces and improving. Instead, everything is frozen in uncertainty because people who should have been focused on growth got distracted by petty grievances and power struggles. Blaming Caitlin Clark for CBA failure is the ultimate example of cutting off your nose to spite your face. She's the only reason these negotiations matter at all. Without her impact, we'd be talking about minor adjustments to existing terms instead of significant revenue sharing and salary increases. She created the financial growth that makes player demands even remotely plausible. And the response from some players and media members is to make her the villain when talks break down. The short-sightedness is genuinely breathtaking. The suggestion that Caitlin Clark might indirectly cause the WNBA to end isn't even far-fetched anymore. If she leaves for Europe and viewership collapses, the financial model supporting league operations falls apart. Television deals get renegotiated downward or canceled entirely. Sponsors reduce commitments or walk away completely. The whole thing could spiral shockingly quickly once the growth engine disappears. That's